Welcome to Make Shit Happen. This is episode number 188. We are going to do things a little differently. Today we are going to replay all the old some of the clips from our older guests that is coming. I just want to do a little refresher and talk about what these great guests had something to say. Clip number one right now, this is Mario Mendez. Mario tells a story about how he went from being a personal trainer to a nutritionist and started meal prepping for clients. And when he tried to call to place a reorder, he didn't get any orders refilled. He learned how to take a problem and come up with the solution. Let's listen to this clip with Mario Mendez. So then you thought about it. You wanted to go be a personal trainer. So how did the personal trainer led into nutrition, or is it just because it goes hand in hand?
Great question, Sam. When you're training people, you get them great results.
Mm-hmm.
And after being a trainer for a while, what trainers figure out is you got to do two things. You have to work out. You have to have some type of working out, whether it's weight training, yoga. It could be vigorous vacuuming, right?
Uh-huh.
But you got to push your muscles. And if you want to get results, you got to make sure that you're eating right. You could actually say that nutrition is 80% of your results. But nutrition's like having a bunch of wood. If you don't have any flame to start off the wood, you're never going to get a fire. So nutrition's important. Training, some type of physical activity, even running, is just as important.
So that's why you got into MyFitFood.
I was one day I was on the floor
Uh-huh.
and I was observing everyone. And I just had a big aha moment. And it was, all these individuals are working hard. They're paying a lot of money to go to a gym. Some of them have trainers. And think about all the time that we spend working out.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Is it so we can work out for 1 hour so we can go eat pizza? That's not why. We're working out because we want to feel good. We want to look good. We want to get stronger. And I just thought, why isn't there one place in the U.S. we can go to where we can get healthy, affordable, and tasty food, Sam?
Right. So so did you start meal prepping yourself, or did you just go open up a business? What did you do?
That was great. There's this defense attorney in Houston. His name's Dan Corrigan. Good guy. And he had 4 secretaries. And so I decided to meal prep, and I made all the food in my house.
Mm-hmm.
I was really excited. And this is like lesson 101, right? So I brought them all their meal prep. They paid me the $5 a meal. I mean, I went to Kroger's and I was buying the chicken from Kroger's and the rice. 5 days later, I call the ladies up. Hey, can I get a reorder? Crickets. No one calls me back. I leave voice messages. I went into his place a week later and I said, why aren't you reordering? You told me you want to be healthy. You told me you want to lose body fat. Let's do this. And the lady, she goes, Mario, I just got to tell you, your food sucks. and that was lesson number 1 is, okay, I'm going to do this no matter what. Food must be tasty, otherwise people won't buy it. And I think that's probably one of the things we could talk about today too is failure. Failure is a good thing if you're going to take failure and you're going to learn from it and you're going to move on, Sam.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, with your business, you've had many failures, but you figured out when you have a failure, how to take that problem and not dwell on the problem, but how to come up with a solution.
Right.
You know? And once you came up with the solution, look at you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that was failure number 1.
Oh yeah.
The lady said the food sucked. It's tasteless.
Yes.
And I've bought some meal preps before from people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it sucks.
Right.
And when I was walking your kitchen last week and you were showing me all the spices, and I'm like, well, that's how I cook, right? I have to spice my food. And I like spices, and spices, flavor your food, makes it not boring, doesn't make it bland. So let's go back over here. So, back to after the ladies, the receptionist and the secretary said,
Mm-hmm.
food sucks. What do you do?
I talk to everybody about it. So if I don't have an answer to a problem, I talk about it. And I talked to 3 people. Oh, that sucks, that sucks, that sucks. I was getting my hair cut at Studio 21 by Kurt Keener. And we're talking about it. And he goes, hey, I know a lady, and she cooks soul food. She's working at McDonald's right now. She's probably making $2 an hour or $200 a week. He goes, offer her a job for $250. She'll spice up your food.
Uh-huh.
So I met her.
Uh-huh.
I offered her a job. she took it on. And that was lesson number 2 is you don't have to do everything yourself, but you got to surround yourself with people who know how to get things done. And she made the food taste good. And my first 6 meals, they were horrible, to be honest with you. Lean lemon turkey, that was a creation. I lucked into it, and that's just from trying different recipes. But she helped out a lot.
Now, so you got this lady now. Now she's cooking. Now she's helping you cook, making the food taste good. What do you do next?
It's kind of funny. This is a good one, man. She's working me for about 4 months. And she was having a hard time. She's making more money than at McDonald's. Well, I guess, a lesson here is pay your employees well.
Right.
Back then, I didn't have much money. So I was paying people $7, $8 cash. I'm still working as a trainer full time. So you're a trainer 50 hours a week. You're the entrepreneur 40 hours a week. And she ended up quitting. And the food was inconsistent. The product was inconsistent. And what I learned was that I just had to pay people more money, man. And back then, $10 an hour cash was a lot of money.
Was a lot of money.
And I did that. And the food became more consistent. I couldn't afford it. Like, I honestly couldn't afford it as a trainer, but it was the right thing to do, and that worked out for us. So going from an apartment kitchen to a catering kitchen, and in this catering kitchen, we used to cook from 5 p.m. to 5 a.m. That was our hours of cooking. It's really like a story of starting off a business maybe the wrong way, but I think when you start off a business the wrong way, you learn all your lessons and you learn the hard lessons, and that pretty much embeds in your DNA and creates some good lessons.
Right.
Learning.
So now you hire people. You're in a commercial kitchen, working 5 p.m. to 5 a.m. Where does My Fit Food come in the equation?
Great question. Did that for about a year, and I realized that it was a dead end. We were only cooking 2 times a week, and from there we were able to get our first retail location on Shepherd and Westheimer.
I remember that location.
Yeah, great original location.
That was next to Churrasco's, right? Or close to Churrasco's.
Right across the street from Churrasco's.
Right across
That's
the street,
correct,
right.
Sam. I had to ask that landlord, Basim, great dude, gave me a shot. I had to ask him to give me that location 10 times. And it was the 10th time I went in there. He just said, "You're not going to stop bugging me, are you?" And I said, "Basim, did you come for money?" He goes, "No." I said, did another person ever give you a shot coming up? And he looked at me, he goes, "Yeah." I said, "I'm asking you for my shot, man. Give me this location. Give me a chance." And he gave us a chance, and we got our first retail location.
And and you named it My Fit Food.
Correct.
How did you come up with My Fit Foods? I mean, it's a really good name, right?
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank
How
you.
did you come up with that name?
They say you should never talk bad about other people. That's usually like someone prefaces that before they talk bad. But we're just going to say I used to work with another chef, and I was a trainer who didn't even want to get in the food business. So this chef, it was the chef's name. I said, "Here'd be a great name for you." The chef's name, Fit Foods. That individual ended up saying, "Thank you for the business. Thank you for the clients. Don't want to be partners with you." It's like, all right, cool. Kind of my concept, like 100% my concept. And when I went back and I was talking to one of my mentors, one of the guys I trained, and that's where I got a lot of business acumen, was from people that I trained. And he just said, "Mario, you need to do this business again. You need to do it 100%. You have a business." And he goes, "You're going to have to do the hard work yourself. You can't just show up and be the salesperson. You're going to have to get in the kitchen. You're going to have to go to the grocery store and pick up the food. Like, you're going to have to do everything." And I was thinking about it one day. I was like, you know what? He's right. This is My Fit Foods. And then it hit me. Like, this is awesome. Because when you take your food home, Sammy, and someone goes to grab one of your meals, what do you say? "Hey, that's My Fit Food."
My Fit Food.
And I just love that name, because that's really what I want for My Fit Foods. Is I want all of us to take ownership of My Fit Foods. I want clients to take ownership of My Fit Foods. I want trainers and healthcare professionals to take ownership of My Fit Foods. My Fit Foods is here for a reason. And my dream, healthy, tasty, affordable food for people. That way, everybody can be healthy if they want to. So MyFit Foods, that's our company. It's your company, my company.
So that's where MyFit Foods come in, merely by accident, almost, you can say.
Yes.
The name, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it was the chef's name, Fit Foods, and then they're like, it's MyFit Foods, and kind of went together.
People think I'm a really smart individual. I'm not. I get lucky a lot, and I pay a lot of attention. I try to listen really good.
Yeah, well, that's good. But, the harder you work, the luckier you get. The next clip is with Washington Ho. Washington Ho talks about his father, 3 Ds of life, which consist of decisions, determination, and discipline. Washington explains them like his father explained it to him. Without further ado, let's listen to this clip with Washington Ho.
The guys that founded Houston, it was founded based on one thing, the discovery of oil, right? And that's how the economy was found. So a lot of times, I used to play this trick when I was younger, right? Because my dad would always give me the great foods, the good stuff. And he's like, why do you got to teach that guy about foie gras if he doesn't know foie gras?
Yeah.
It's like, if you say something's human hot and no one comes and you're making all the money, but like, it takes a creative to tell it in a way that the world can communicate now, which is, we're open for business and it's easy to do. And there's a reason why we're called the energy capital of the world. The human energy here inspires and aspires. And my father creating the small business administration program with his bank was the way that he could help educate his community. And he loves this city and I love it. And the humidity is what makes this town special.
You talk highly about your dad. I mean, you've talked several times in this interview. Tell us, and I know your dad is a big time entrepreneur and he has a lot going on. Tell us a little bit about your dad, if you don't mind. What is he doing now? I mean, we understand his past. Tell us, what is he doing now?
He's always cool, calm, and collected. Nothing makes him excited. Nothing makes him, he's just one step forward a day. Very loving guy. He loves to party, loves to have a good time. But what he does is he gets his shit done before he parties. And the discipline. He has a lot of discipline. He talks about the 3 Ds of life. 1, decision. So everybody wakes up, they have to make a decision for the day. Number 2 is there will always be something that gets in your way, but you have to have determination. So once you make the decision though, you've already knocked out like 85% of the equation. So just keep going. And 3 is discipline. Because while you're determined, you have to be focused on your original thesis and stick back to that. And when you do that, and you do that consistently, daily, just with 1 step forward, you're going to get to where you need to be and where your family hopes to be.
Man, that's awesome. That is a smart guy right there. Decision, determination, and discipline. I mean, yeah, you have to take a decision. You have to stick with it, and then you got to be disciplined enough to make sure you carry it. So that's perfect.
Yeah,
I love it.
He says, don't ever hope that you're right. Because as long as you do the 3 Ds, at least you know that you went out swinging the way that because if you're not doing the 3 Ds, you don't learn much. Because you start getting a little wiggle. This network tells you this or that network tells you that. No, what did you say in the beginning? It's right there in your head.
The next one is with Mark Hernandez. In this clip, Mark speaks on how he was having lunch with his construction crew when this older guy asked him a question. Why are you here? From that moment forward, Mark's life changed because of the question. Listen to the story on how Mark met his mentor and how he changed his life.
And so one day we're having lunch. Us Hispanics, Sam, we like to put our meals in the middle and we like to share. You may bring tacos, I may bring enchiladas, and somebody bring a salsa. We all share. So one day we're having lunch.
At a construction site.
At a construction site, in a tent. And we have our meals in the middle of the table. And there's this one man, we call him Don Oliver. Now, we gave him, his name is Oliver. So when you put Don in front from a Hispanic perspective, that's respect. He was the maestro, the one person who has the knowledge, training, experience, and he can lead a crew to kick butt and take names.
He was the leader of the crew.
He was a leader of the crew. 54 years old, man, beautiful hazel green eyes. He can outwork a 20-year-old. That's dude was bad. Dude was bad. And so I reached over and I grabbed a taco, and Don Oliver looks at me. You know, again, this is probably like 6-7 years into building scaffolds with the company. He looks at me, he leans over and he says, Mark, in Spanish, Mark, ¿qué estás haciendo aquí? Mark, what are you doing here? The question went over my head, and I said, please pass the salsa. See, when you don't know, things easily pass over your head, huh?
Yeah.
See, that's why you can't just have hustle. You have to have knowledge. And so I loved his intention. I love how he just kept on. He just say, dude, don't get it, and slammed him. Dude, don't understand what I'm trying to go. He just closed me off. Far too often we do that, you know, with individuals. They didn't get it. They don't know where I'm coming from, and I'm just going to close them off. Actually, you cap potential right there. But I loved his intention. And he leans over again. He says, Mark, ¿qué estás haciendo aquí? Mark, what are you doing here? But the last time, he leans over and he says, Mark, come here. Like a loving father, just come here. He didn't knock me upside the head and say, you dummy, you don't understand. No, just come here. And he would ask me a series of questions that are simple but powerful as I reflect now. This is 20 plus years ago.
Uh-huh.
And as I'm telling you, I'm getting chills right now because, again, the emotions goes back to the day he told me. So he asked the series of questions beginning, Mark, ¿qué estás haciendo aquí? Mark, what are you doing here? Eating lunch. See, Mark doesn't get it yet. Then he asked me, Mark, you were born here? Yes. You know English? Yes. You graduated? Yes. You went to the military? Yes. Mark doesn't have a clue what the heck Don Oliver is trying to do. And then he leans forward just a little bit more and says, come here. About this time, Sam, I could see his beautiful green eyes. And he says, Mark, ¿qué estás haciendo aquí? Este trabajo pa'l burro. Mark, what are you doing here? This job is for the donkey. Now, I'm just going to stop right there. As a Hispanic, bro, them like fighting words. What the heck are you doing here? You a donkey? You calling me a donkey? Now, why didn't anger rise up? Why didn't pride rise up? None of that didn't rise up because it was truth. It was truth. See, Don Oliver saw something in me that I didn't even see myself because I was familiar. I was comfortable after 7 years doing the same thing every single day, waking up like a robot, build scaffolds, build 5, tear down 2, build 5, tear down 3, every single day. Some of you listening, you may have gotten to the point where you're familiar, you're comfortable. And my challenge questions to you is, what are you doing here? What are you doing here? Fast forward. I went to school. I had the amazing opportunity to serve and for 12 years for the U.S. Department of Labor, OSHA. I became an entrepreneur, speaker, co-authored 2 books, all because one individual one day took the time to see potential and ask the powerful question as a coach. He and all right, he could have said, you know what, after the first question, dude, don't get it, man. I'm just going to close you out. Forget you, Mark. Just like many of us do. He don't get it. What do? We close him out because we don't see value. I love what my mentor says. He says, place a 10 above the individual and hold that image. Hold that image. See, if even I said no the first time, the second time, the third time, he still saw me as a 10. Why? Because he saw value. You can't see potential, but you have to see value first. You have to see value first. I share that story because I am here as an entrepreneur, sitting across an individual, Sam, as an entrepreneur, making it happen.
Guys, I hope you liked what Mark Hernandez had to say. The next one is with Natalia Castillo. In this segment, Natalia talked about mental health and how she had a mental breakdown and collapsed. She learned a lot on how to be grateful with life and to appreciate the smaller things. And that led to Natalia to create Fire You Up, a program to help women overcome mental and self-care. There's depression is not only not talked about in the Latin culture, in a lot of cultures. Depression is us as as a society, we just don't talk about depression a lot. We don't talk about anxiety. We don't talk about mental health that much. I mean, I understand that there's been some shine, some light that's been shined recently, but that's something that nobody talks about, right? Because we all have our own battles that we fight, and you're correct. People don't talk about it. So that what led you to starting Fire You Up?
Yes, absolutely. So back in 2008, I was dealing with a lot of stress. I had a lot of jobs. I had my school. I had a lot going on in my life, and I wasn't really taking care of myself that much. I actually got diagnosed with a clinical depression. I didn't understand what was happening with me. I didn't understand anything. I was like, what are the symptoms? I didn't want to get out of bed. I couldn't focus. There were a lot of different things that I was very confused about, until there was a point that I completely collapsed. And I remember calling my dad back in Colombia and telling him, you know what, like, thank you for everything you've done. It's time for me to go. And he was like, what do you mean? Like, he's always known me for being happy and so excited about everything, that he was like, something is really wrong. So my brother and my sister-in-law came home, rescued me literally from that apartment, put me on the first flight back to Colombia, and I was in Colombia for a full year recovering. I had to quit my school, quit everything that I was doing here. But that year of my life completely changed my outlook and how to be more grateful for having a good day, for taking care of your mind and your body. So I highly recommend for people that are going through depression, that are dealing with anxiety, to take it seriously and to really understand that there is hope. That if you take care of your body and your mind, you're gonna be fine. There are elements and things that you gotta do in order to get out of that. I strongly believe that my faith, the support of my family, medicine, I did have to take medicine to get out of it, and also fitness and nutrition was the one that got me out of my depression. When I had the opportunity to come back here and see the world in a different light and feel good and wake up and be thankful for my mind, that's when I knew that that was my purpose and the reason why God allowed me to do that. So during the pageant seasons, there were a lot of women that would go through the program, grow, and really like expand their vision and everything. But there were other women that would apply for the pageant, not so much for the crown or the sash, but they wanted to learn about mental health. They wanted to grow themselves. And this is where I knew that something else had to happen, and Fire You Up was born. Is a program, 6-week program that we open to all women of all nationalities, of all ages, to focus on mental health and self-care.
Nice. So when you said that you were at your worst, how does someone find out, I'm having a depression, or I'm depressed, or I'm not feeling the best? I mean, how? I mean, is it? I just don't know. I mean, I've never experienced it. I might be, sometimes, I wake up, I'm like, man, I'm just not feeling it. Oh, I'm sad about something. But, I can't relate because I've never had depression or to deal with depression. Mm-hmm. Normal people, normally people might be depressed about something, and it might be because they're having a sad moment or something.
Correct.
Versus somebody who has that mental health challenge, right? Who is clinically depressed, or has that for a long period. So how does one find out?
Yeah, that's a really good point.
How do we differentiate? I'm depressed for one day because something happened. My boyfriend broke up with me, or my girlfriend broke up with me, or my boss didn't give me that promotion. Versus I'm depressed with life.
Yes, and that's something that I had to learn the hard way. Just like you, I had never experienced it before. So when people would tell me, oh, I'm depressed, or depression, anxiety, I didn't understand it because I never went through it until that happened. And I really think that the difference is every human beings go through something difficult. They get sad days, we get, bad days. But the main thing is watching for those symptoms. And when they become something that's a long time, weeks, of symptoms, you gotta really act and get to know yourself. And that's what Fire You Up is so important, is because it gives these women the opportunity and the knowledge to know themselves. Once you know yourself and you know your triggers and you know something's off, you gotta listen to that, because depression is something that can go down south very quickly, and that is very hard to get out of it. Once you're in a deep moment, you might have to do the medicine and the other elements that I told you that you need to get out of it. But I would say watch for those symptoms. If they last more than a week, is understandable. If you broke up with your boyfriend and you're sad for a week, that's normal. However, make sure that you don't sink and continue sinking and sinking until the chemicals in your brain change completely, and then it's too late to get out of it.
One thing you said that, deal with depression through health and fitness. And I mean, it's proven from science, when you work out, your body creates endorphins make you happy, all that other stuff. How did you experience it?
Yes, I can tell you that working out and eating healthy is my medicine. After I experienced the clinical depression, I was in treatment for a full year. However, I don't have to take actual medicine anymore. But the doctor told me one thing that will always stick to me. He said, your workout routines and your eating healthy will be what keeps you going and what keeps you healthy. And I cannot tell you enough. The days that I don't work out, I completely feel down, and I know that there is I'm more prone to depression, so I have to stay on top of it. And I really think that there is a huge opportunity for all humans to use the resources and natural resources of working out and eating healthy, and that changes the way you feel. It changes the way you connect to other people, and also the way you look as well, which gives you confidence.
I totally agree. Working out, the day I don't work out, it kind of, my mood is a little different. But yes. You know what? Eating healthy is so hard for me.
I think for all of us.
I love eating bad.
It is, food, sometimes we get like an emotional connection with food,
yeah.
And it makes us feel good for a moment, and then you look at yourself in the mirror, or your mood changes because of all that grease or the sugar and all of that stuff. But there is a big correlation with food and your brain chemistry. So when we eat well, we feel a lot better. When we drink water, we feel a lot better than when we drink alcohol.
Absolutely.
So there's a lot of triggers that people are not aware of, or maybe daily habits that we do that we don't know are affecting our mental health.
This one is with Gilbert Sosa. I spoke to Gilbert about mistakes that he learned from being an entrepreneur. But Gilbert don't look at them as mistakes, more like lessons. Because once it didn't work out, the first or second time, he finds a way to not make those mistakes again. What is some of the mistakes that you have made that you're like, I wish I would have made it, or you know what, that taught me something?
Yeah, honestly, even with mistakes, like I look at them all as lessons, because I make decisions and I know that when I make them, like I can't regret them because I'm gonna learn from them, and I only make decisions that I know I'm going to not regret. So that's just after making certain decisions in the past that like I was like, damn, I shouldn't have done that. But right now, I guess you could say mistakes is like, it's really weird, but I feel like sometimes I set too high expectations for things, and it's better to not set expectations like for like things because you'll become disappointed. It's better to set goals, but expectations in the moment of like, even like how people are going to react, what you think people are going to like that, all that is very emotion driven when you're working with that many people and young people as well. Because the people that I work with are mostly like 18 to 25. So it's still the developing phase of people adapting to the space, and also social media, a very new space. So I guess one of the biggest mistakes I made is like kind of assuming in a way of how people are going to react when like I should just wait. And another one too is not like giving to people too much of a say, if you want to put it that way. Because if they're becoming in the project for you and they say yes to you because they're putting like their life on the line for you for the moment, it's because they trust you in a way. So you have to make those decisions sometimes that they're just going to adapt to because they're there. They want to be there. If not, they wouldn't be there, And sometimes I'm like super like considerate and I'm like, what do you think? What do you think? But when it's 9 people, 8 people, you can't do that all the time because everyone can have a whole different opinion, a whole different viewpoint, and you'll get nothing done at that point.
And you gotta be able to make the decision.
Yeah. And now, like, I was really hard about that, like before, but honestly, after a year of like what happened last year, it really like kind of numbed me in many ways. And I had to like reaffirm all those things. I was like, oh wow, yeah, you're right. I shouldn't be doing this. Shouldn't be doing this. And it's not even because you want to like be like the person that says like the boss or whatever, but it's because you just want to get shit done. You know what I mean?
And it's your responsibility. I mean, a lot of people don't understand and don't realize that when they're the boss, I mean, it comes with responsibilities.
Yeah.
I mean, and one of the responsibilities is to be able to make that decision.
And because you want to get shit done.
Because you want to get
not
shit
because
done.
you want to like
Stall.
have the power and all that. I tell people already in the house, if I wanted to be the power, I wouldn't, and have the most power in the house right now, I wouldn't be doing a content house. Yeah. I actually have a business right now, like a whole different business that I know also is not as high risk as a content house.
Yeah.
And some people still don't believe it, but I keep saying it. I'm like, trust me, like I would have a whole other type of business, and I would be able to have a whole other type of business.
I want to ask, you said content house is high risk. What kind of risk is it?
I mean, number one, you're depending on an algorithm to really push your content.
Yeah. And if the algorithm doesn't like it,
you're done.
You're done.
Literally, you're done, because it might just be because you were 3 months early, or you were 3 months too late, or you're a day too late, or you're a day too early. So that's the high risk that I see there. Number two, people change. Even when they follow you, their likes change, their interests change every single day. So just because they're following you now doesn't mean in 2 months you're going to be interested in following you still. So it's one of those things that like you have to capitalize on it as you're going. And one of those ways to capitalize on it obviously is like the experience of people and what they're learning. Because the number one takeaway from all these houses, from every single person that's in it, is the knowledge. And you can't, and when you're in this type of environment, there's literally no way to put a price on it, because there is no college that exists for this right now. It's literally developing as we're doing it, as we're talking about it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gilbert, I want to be respectful of your time, and I'm glad that you made some time for me. But we are getting, I'd like to keep these.
We can come back. It's okay.
Yeah, definitely. And I would love to have you back as a guest
in a month,
at least, definitely in a month or 2 months. Once you launch that other house.
Yeah.
But we're getting towards the end of the show. First of all, I want you to tell people, if they want to know more about you, if they want to follow you, where can they find you at?
At Gilbert Sosa, literally all around. It's whatever, you'll find it. Google whatever.
And then what, at Tejas House also? At
Tejas House. It's literally all over my social media, so you'll see it on there.
All right, definitely.
That's all I post about right now. That's my content right now.
Gilbert, as I asked this question to everybody towards the end of the show. If today was the last day on earth, let's say you ended up living 100 years old, right? But it's time to go meet your creator, and it's time to go to the next world. And someone brings you a pen and a paper, because every content you made, you can't take it with you. You can't do nothing. Every book you wrote, every content you wrote, every movie you made is gone. Now you have a pen and a paper, and they say, Gilbert, leave this for your future generation, for the future world, to remember you, to know you. It can be your 3 truths, something that you will leave for the world.
Yeah.
What will be those three things be?
I guess I would say it would be, honestly, like, it sounds so cliche, but like not giving up. That's it.
That's number one, not giving up.
That's it. That's like, it sounds so cliche, but it's so cliche. It sounds so cliche because not enough people do it still. Yeah.
You mind expanding on it a little bit?
Absolutely. I guess it just goes back to like whatever it is, like even if it doesn't work, if you don't give up, it's gonna take you to your next step. Like just you being super ambitious and not giving up. Like you have to fail like 100 times, or sometimes you don't have to fail 100 times. You can fail 2 times, and the 3rd time will be the charm. So
I feel like you said not giving up because you have a personal. It sounded too personal.
Well, I mean, honestly, it's because like we all have our things that we go through in life, but you can't let that define you, because if you let it define you, basically it's like giving up. You have to write your own story, and the only way to write it is to not give up, because when you don't give up, you learn from those experiences of like whatever that background is, to take you to that next step. For me, it was like growing up as like a first gen in a way, basically, and like not having a supportive like not a supportive like morally, but like just in many ways resources and stuff like that growing up, where like I could have gone a whole different direction in my life, but I always knew, like, seeing just the instincts in like my family that they never gave up even if it wasn't enough, like that fueled me to, like, I was like, I just have to be smart. That's it. And it doesn't mean book smart. It means how you move about society.
I really enjoyed talking to Yello Pain. I spoke to Yello Pain about the youth and how they glamorize what's on social media and trying to live up to what they see on the internet. And if you want those things, you have to work for it and not go down the wrong path to get those materialistic things. So Yello Pain gives out an example for the youth to make some money the right way. Let's listen to Yello Pain and what he has to say. Yes, I mean, I think it's our civil responsibility, just to make sure that we tell people, hey, you know what, but yeah, of course, those Jordans look good, but what do you got to do? And don't go towards the wrong path, because that one wrong turn, can take you from, one way to other. I mean, they always show, or I mean, you probably hear all the time, man, about a 15 or 16 or 17-year-old kid made that wrong turn in life because they wanted that gold chain, or they wanted those fancy shoes, or
exactly.
those fancy
and I try to tell people, like, you don't gotta lose your swag or lose your character. Like, you can still get the stuff, but just don't make your whole priority in life to keep up with that stuff. Like like some kids, they do have, like, where their parents to do whatever they can to get them a pair of Jordans. Like, they spend like $250 on a pair of shoes. And I'm like, if you really think about that, that's $250 on one pair of shoes. You give about 2-3 weeks of wearing that consistently, they done with. Ask them, can I get that $250? Mom, I really want to get some t-shirts, and I really want to, you put something powerful on a t-shirt, Black King or something, and you sell it to your friends for $10 a piece. You get 50 shirts, sell them for $10 a piece. Now you got, $500. Now you could go buy the Jordans, and now you still got the $250 to go buy some more shirts.
Yeah, but
you know what I mean?
Yello Pain, one thing that we live in this superficial world.
Exactly.
And I mean, people, and I mean, I'm not gonna just blame the media. I'm not gonna blame, people who make this fake world of social media.
Yeah.
That they only talk about 2% of their life and not talk about the 98%, or talk about 5% of their life and not talk about 95%. But what it does is that, kids or younger people, the younger generation, you can mold them. You can mold their heads, their mind and stuff. And I mean, that's why there's a lot of people nowadays, especially now more than ever. Yeah, when I was growing up, it was only the Jordans, right? Yeah. Well, now it's the Louis and the Pradas. And
yeah, it's just getting more expensive.
It's getting more and more expensive. Yeah. I mean, those Gucci shoes, they're not cheap.
Exactly.
$600, $700, $800, right?
Exactly.
And I mean, it pains me, seeing what people do, and what are their priorities. But if we need people like you who can tell people, hey, with the entrepreneurial mind, get the $250 and flip it. But a lot of people don't do that because it's hard. It's not easy. Yeah. And us as a society, or us as people, we run away from hard things. We like easy. Yeah. We like something that will come right to us.
And that's because success is projected as easy. Like you said, especially with social media, like, you got people that just showing their life on the beach. They're not showing the hours that they putting into marketing, ads, and e-commerce. They're not showing the details of the grind. They're just only showing the lifestyle and people,
the glory.
Yeah, and kids buy into that, and they think it's that easy, and they want it that easy, that fast.
This episode was one of the most comical ones to me, and most interesting one, with Jentry Kelly. I laughed so much when I was interviewing Jentry Kelly. In this clip, I asked Jentry about some advice for up-and-coming entrepreneurs, and she spoke about how it's important to have a support system when you grow your business, because it's not possible to run it all alone, and how focused she is and the tricks she uses to hit her goals. what are some of the advices that you will give to somebody who wants to be an aspiring entrepreneur? I mean, you've been in business now 10 years. I mean, that's a milestone. So, I mean, and you've learned a lot. You know, I told somebody the other day, I'm like, I didn't finish college, but I've probably paid more than 3 Harvard degrees, you know, with all the mistakes I've made, you know. So, what is some advice you can give to aspiring entrepreneurs, or people who want to be in their own business, mistakes that you made that they should avoid, or lessons that you learned from in your life?
Yeah, the support system that I had from my friends, I don't think I could have made it without that, because they worked for free in the beginning. They helped me label the makeup. They helped me glue the makeup into the compacts. Like, having friends and your support and asking for help. I'm not the kind of person to ask for help. They offered their help, but ask for help from your family and friends. You can't pay all the labor. If you don't have an investor, you can't be paying all these things out in the very beginning, right? Mm-hmm. So because my friends helped me do all that, I paid my friends $50 a day to do that launch party with me. That's nothing. That's not even like their parking money, right?
Yeah.
But because I had that support system helping me in the very beginning, making connections, really pushing myself on social media, working every single day, not taking a day off, and not paying myself. Mm-hmm. I think people start to pay themselves too soon instead of reinvesting it back into the business. Mm-hmm. As soon as they make their first dollar, they're like, ooh, where am I going to spend it? You can't live like that. Yeah. You can't live beyond your means. You know what I mean? I always lived well below my means so I could afford to do more for my business, right? For every 2 good lipstick I sold, I bought 2 more. That was more important than paying myself. And I know not every person in every situation can have the service base and the product base and have it sustain each business, right? It just kind of worked for me. That was a good recipe for success for me. Mm-hmm. But just getting out there and hustling and not taking no for an answer, you know, and figuring shit out. Most people, Sean said to me, he goes, the reason why you're going to succeed and all your employees, I think that they're going to go start their own makeup line. 5 of them already tried, still trying. He goes, they're not going to do what you do, because when most people come to a roadblock, you find a way around it. They don't. They stop, they get frustrated, they give up. So finding a way around the roadblocks and not taking no. If someone says, oh, you can't do that, but why? You tell me, I need to know but why. And research ways around it, or to innovate and find a problem and solve it, right? Everybody knows XYZ is frustrating, right? Find a solution to that frustrating problem and you're an instant millionaire, right? But you got to just keep pushing through it.
Gentry, I got to commend you. You know, one thing that, you know, we both share this thought process, like, you know, reinvesting in your business. You know, sell a lipstick, buy 2, you know, buy 2 more, or sell something, you know, and reinvest in your business, build your inventory, you know, make sure that the customer has a better experience all the time. You know, technology, like you mentioned earlier, you want to have an app that does all kind of stuff. You know, that's what make a real business, you know, a business versus a hobby, you know, or people who are in the business to make a paycheck. They just, when they start their business, because they just want to make sure that they buy a job.
Well, shockingly, it's not about the money to me. Yeah. It's about the numbers, but it's not about the money. And Dave Chappelle said this one time when I was watching him in person, right when he came back, right? He's like, I just realized before I had the breakdown, I'm at the same restaurant eating the same motherfucking steak that this guy's eating. I have 50 million. He's got 500 million. We eating the same motherfucking steak. Yeah. And that's kind of what it's like. There's really no difference whether I have $1 million in my bank account or 10 million. The only difference is the private jet situation. Besides that, there's no difference. To me, it's more about proving to myself that I can do it. And I think it's because I didn't have a really great, I have a little bit of daddy issues, you know, never feeling like I was good enough and always trying to prove myself. I think I was kind of born that way, right? And then getting passed up for that promotion at Neiman's, right? I was always trying to prove myself. And then when I started my own makeup line, the little bitches at the counter were like, she ain't never going to be successful. I don't know why she wasting her money, her time. She ain't going to be nothing. Watch me, bitch. Watch me, nay, because I'm going to do it. And I did it. And it's constantly trying to prove to myself, like, why do I think that I can't sell my business for $800 million? What's holding me back? What's the reason why I can't do it? There is not a reason. I can't come up with a reason. I just got to fucking work harder and find ways to be more innovative. And don't watch what my competitors are doing. Don't worry about what my ex-employees are doing. They don't matter. They're never going to be me, right? No one's ever going to work as hard as me. And that's okay. I need to focus on me and put the blinders on. I don't even look at people say, what's the trend this season? I don't give a fuck what the trend is. I do what I want to do, right? Because I'm not watching everybody else. I'm watching me. And I focus on me. And all the other stuff is white noise.
Exactly.
And so I think staying focused is really important too. And you can't be getting tied up in family drama or friend drama. If anyone causes drama in my life, you get cut out. I don't care if you're family blood or not. You get cut the fuck out because I don't have time for that.
Right. And that's a good recipe for, you know, staying on track. Guys, Eduardo Adame was one of my favorite stories. The rag to riches stories from Eduardo was a great one. I'm taking this a clip from Eduardo and what we talk about how to pick your passion and sticking with it. It's fine to make extra income by doing side hustles, but if you're trying to grow your business, you need to focus on that and not spread yourself thin by trying to manage businesses that will ultimately hurt your main business if you're not careful. Me and Eduardo really agree on the same philosophy. Let's listen to this, what Eduardo has to say about this philosophy.
But I could see that. So like, you need to pick a job, you need to pick your passion and become the best at what you are. Don't spread around. You know, I have a lot of clients that go, oh, I'm not going to do surveys and appraisals and title and this. But you're not going to do any of them well. My take is that just pick what drives you, what gets you up in the morning with passion, and go for it and become the best at it. There's always room for improvement.
Yeah, you're talking about have a main dish and eat that. Look, I have nothing against side hustle, right? Oh, well, I can make a little money, opportunity comes.
For sure.
That's fine. You know, but having a main business, my whole ideology is have one business, excel at that business,
Right.
focus on that. Don't spread yourself too thin, because you only have 24. Like, you know, you have said that earlier before. You only have 24 hours a day.
Right. How are you going to apply them?
How are you going to apply them? And
Oh,
if you have
for sure.
6 businesses, it's like they need 6 attention. I mean, it's just like having 6 girlfriends. You know,
Yeah.
you know, what is it? Is it one for Monday, one for Tuesday? And you rest on Sunday.
Right. None of them will like you. They're
It
going to be
doesn't
married
work.
to somebody else, by the way.
It doesn't work.
Yeah, that doesn't work. I agree. Become the best at whatever you choose. There's no right or wrong answer to whatever drives you, right? But once you find that passion, give it all you got, because I guarantee you can try all your life, you know, thriving for perfection. You're never going to achieve it, but you can never stop trying. And there's always going to be the next guy who comes along and start doing your business better than you.
Exactly.
You got to be on top of it.
So again, let's talk about this 24 hours. What do you believe in 24 hours?
I am super passionate about that. Like, time has always been so valuable to me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I adore my children and my family, and so I have to make sure that I put the time in there, because otherwise, I would just be working and creating. And so I have to physically stop myself. You know, I'll give you an example. If I'm in my home office on a Saturday working, and I'm focused, you know, I have my coffee. I love coffee, so I have my coffee. I close my doors. This is daddy working time right now. You know, we'll play in a little bit, but when I'm working, I'm working. I go outside to refill my coffee, and my wife starts talking to me when I'm in my mode. I stop her story right in the midst. Like, you know what? I want to talk about this. We'll talk tonight, but I'm in a mission right now. Let me finish this, and then we'll continue this story. I'm so focused. I get up in the morning. I work out. I got to take care of my health, because if I don't work out, I feel like my day goes wrong.
Uh-huh.
So that's another thing that I highly recommend, and we'll talk about that in a little more detail in a little bit, because the importance of working out to me is essential. And every minute of the day matters to me. You know, so even when I'm having fun with my friends and we're on a Sunday, I have this part of me that I feel like, even though I'm having a blast with my friends, I'm not using my time to the best I could. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
And I don't like it. I'm not saying it's great. I'm more of the live the moment, enjoy the what you have in front of you. I agree on that. I believe on all of that. I'm just saying, me personally, I always have that on the back of my head that I need to be creating something.
Yeah.
I cannot sit around. I don't understand people that sit and watch TV for hours or even play golf. If I'm playing golf, I feel like I'm wasting my time.
Guys, I hope you enjoyed every single guest and what they had to say. These are just some highlights I took from some of the past interviews. We will do the same on the next episode. Please stay in tune and listen to my next episode, which will be episode number 190, and we'll have some highlights from other guests also. Don't forget to check out 190, and I hope you enjoyed 188. If you listen to us on Apple Podcasts, please subscribe to us. Please rate us, review us, as your ratings and reviews really, really help us reach other people. Thank you for supporting Make Shit Happen podcast. Thank you for listening to us. Now let's go out there and make shit happen.